All right, good evening, everybody. If you want to go ahead and start to grab any of your props, so a block to sit on the edge of, pillows, blankets, anything warm if you're chilly, any maybe aromatherapy, anything that's going to help set the mood for you today. And we'll just make our way onto our mats. Sitting in a comfortable seated position, you can go ahead and start the Spotify playlist. Just make sure that it is not on shuffle. And if you want to search for it, if you're on YouTube or Instagram, it's Sunset Yoga W/with Nina. And you should see that available on Spotify if you search. All right, so let's go ahead and get into that comfortable seat on our mats, or we can lie down if that feels good for us as well. Whatever is calling to you in this moment, whatever your body needs. And we'll close our eyes or we'll keep a soft gaze open. We'll take the next few moments just to notice what is happening within. Noticing the breath. How is the breath right now? Is it calm? Is it quick? Is it agitated? Is it slow? What is the quality of the breath? What is the best way to name the breath? We're not judging or labeling anything as good or bad, right or wrong right now. We're simply just observing. We're sitting with how the breath is in this moment. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, adding length into the spine. See if you can very gently open up the heart a little bit more. Reaching the crown of the head to the sky ever so gently, adding length into the spine. And noticing along with the breath what sensations are coming up for you in the body. Where do you feel these sensations? Once again, we're not judging or labeling, we're just simply observing, naming. And along with the breath, along with the body, just noticing what is in the mind right now. Once again, not judging or labeling, or we're not hurriedly trying to push thoughts out. We're just simply noticing what kinds of thoughts are naturally coming in. Are they centered around fear? Are they centered around sadness? Are they centered around joy, excitement? Are they centered around surprise? Whatever emotions are coming up or whatever the thoughts are that are coming in, just simply observing and naming. Noticing how the body responds to us just sitting with what is coming up in the breath in the body. So the intention for today, January 31st, which is the last day of January, which is wild that it's going so quickly already of the new year. But the intention for today's class is value your connection to truth. Trust what you know, not what you think you know, but what you know in your heart. We often know the truth long before we let ourselves see and believe it, long before we're ready to acknowledge it. For many reasons: fear, timing, and a myriad of issues too long to list, we ignore and discount what we know in our heart. But the truth doesn't go away. What's true, what we know to be true, will nag at us and haunt us. And even if we try to run from that truth, our experiences will ultimately lead us back to it. Life may bring us many issues we want to run from, issues that are a challenge. But the real challenge we face is learning to trust ourselves and trust what we know to be true. Maybe someone once told us we couldn't be trusted. That's too bad. But what's worse is that we began to believe it and started to tell ourselves that too. So take a moment to just sit with what you heard about trusting yourself. So just sitting with that, noticing the breath in this moment. Noticing the sensations of the body. And gently start to deepen the breath, bringing movement into the body, rolling the wrists, maybe rolling the neck. So we're going to play around with this intention by really just sitting with what comes up with us during our practice that really resembles the ability to sit with what comes up outside of our practice. And that oftentimes when we feel discomfort or we feel uncomfortable emotions, we feel uncomfortable thoughts and memories come up, we tend to want to immediately push them away. That's a very natural thing for us to want to do. But there's a lot of truth and there's also just a lot of knowledge in how we're feeling. And I just heard a podcast recently. Actually, I think it was an audiobook recently that talked about, it's all about emotions. And it talks about how emotions that come up for us in a given time are true. Now, they may not necessarily be talking about an event that's true, or they might not be actually factual, right, in that moment. But what we're feeling is true in that moment, right? So if you're feeling sad, it's true that you feel sad. There's no arguing, right, how you're feeling in that moment. So just we'll play around with that on the mat today, just as we move through our practice, just noticing what comes up. And we're, instead of pushing it away, if it's not what we want to feel, we're going to just sit with it and just see if we can move through with that emotion, right? Whether it's uncomfortable or comfortable. And essentially that's a way that we can start to gain trust in ourselves. Just trust that we can get through, right? Anything that comes up for us. If there's any other intention that you'd like to set for your practice today, you may do so at this time. Just continuing to move the body. If some of you want to do some twists, go ahead and do some spinal twists. Just giving you some space right now to move in a way that feels good for your body. Some of you may want to interlace the hands behind you to open the shoulders. Some of you may want to do side stretches. So whatever feels good for you in this moment, take this time to tune into your body, your truth of what it is that you need right now. Just take another 30 seconds or so just to add in some gentle movements in a way that feels good for you. And when you're ready, just coming up off of your blocks and making your way into a downward dog. All right, so feel free if you still need to do some extra movements. We're gonna have about 10 breaths in our downward dog. For some of you, you may wanna take a few breaths to do cat and cow. Okay, so this is additional free time to do whatever feels good in your body in this moment. Otherwise, we're gonna have a total of 10 counts. Either that is spent in downward dog or it is spent doing something else right now that feels good to you. And when you do get into your downward dog, spread the fingers wide, let the head and neck relax. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing here, really rooting down into the index finger and the thumb. About 5 more breaths here wherever you are. Really raising those hips high if you're in downward dog, maybe even bending either leg, getting a nice stretch in the calves, perhaps in the hamstrings. 2 more deep breaths here. And on the next breath, look to the front of your mat. Gently walk your feet to your hands. Just walking each foot up, grabbing opposite elbows, coming into a forward fold. Feel free to bend your knees as much as feels good. Letting yourself hang, maybe it might feel good to sway left and right. Letting the neck relax down. Also feels really good in the backs of the legs and the hamstrings. Breathing here. And release the hands down. Slowly roll up, 1 vertebra at a time. When you get to the top, sweep the arms to the sky, palms together, gaze up. Palms down at the heart and at the side. All right, so we're going to start our sun salutation, Surya Namaskar A. Coming to the front of your mat, bring your toes together, your heels are slightly apart. Arms to the side, standing tall, Tadasana. Breathing here as we start our flow. Big inhale as we sweep the arms up to the sky, gaze up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale as we forward fold, hinging forward at the hips, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend both knees, plant both hands. Bring the left foot back. Bring the right foot back. Coming into a high plank. Shoulders are over the wrists. The core is strong, hugging the belly to the spine. The gaze is down. Lifting those kneecaps up, really activating those legs, reaching those heels behind you. Breathing here for 5, 4. Keep that breath moving, don't hold it in. 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down to the mat. So lower all the way down, untucking the feet. Bring the hands out about 6 inches in front of you. Inhaling as you come up into baby cobra, squeezing the elbows into the rib cage, breathing here, gaze down. Exhale as you come back down. Slide the hands back underneath the shoulders, squeeze those elbows into the body. Tuck the toes, lift the knees up. So you're squeezing the whole body, you're getting ready to push up into high plank and push up. High plank, go back. Downward dog, breathing here, shoulders away from the ears, spreading the fingers wide, letting the head and neck relax. Nodding the head yes, shaking the head no. Look to the front of your mat, step or jump your feet to your hands. Inhaling halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze up at the palms. Palms down at the heart. And to the side. Breathing here and again. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend both knees, plant both hands. Bring your left foot back. Bring your right foot back. Coming once again into that high plank. Option to come all the way down and do cobra like we did, or shift forward into chaturanga, dandasana. Your choice of how you want to proceed with your vinyasa. Inhaling the heart through wherever you are. Exhaling as you go back into downward dog. Breathing here. Feeling that heat in the body, that yang, that solar energy. The core is working hard as we move through our flow. And just noticing what comes up and not pushing it away. We're just sitting with what comes up. We're allowing the truth to be told. Breathing here, nodding the head, yes. Shaking the head, no. Look to the front of your mat. Step or jump your feet to your hands. Inhaling halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze up at the palms. Palms down at the heart and to the side. And again, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Keep that flow moving. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, step or jump back, Chaturanga or Cobra, moving through your vinyasa. We're warming up the body here. We're adding some heat into the body as we move through our flow, which of course we're going to wind down in the second part of class. So we're trying to warm up the muscles here, really trying to open up space. Breathing here, nodding the head, yes. Shaking the head, no. Look to the front of your mat. Step or jump your feet to your hands. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Palms down at the heart and to the side. And again, one last Surya A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. You can do this. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, step or jump back, Chaturanga, Dandasana, or Cobra, moving through your flow. Breathing here. And when you get into downward dog, just take a moment for child's pose. Just a moment, really, to notice what's coming up for you. And if nothing is coming up right now that you can name, that's okay. It's absolutely okay. Whatever is happening right now is okay. Whatever your experience is right now is valid. Breathing here. On the next breath, come back into your downward dog. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Nodding the head, yes. Shaking the head, no. On the next breath, float that right leg up to the sky, long three-legged dog. Open up that right leg by bending that right leg, that right hip, open up that right hip. Try to see if you can keep your shoulders square, just really opening that hip, isolating that movement. Straighten that right leg up towards the sky once again. Shift forward as you bring your right knee to your nose, rounding your spine like you're in cats, engaging that core, breathing here. Float that right leg up to the sky. Shift forward as you bring your knee to your left elbow, crossing over, breathing here, engaging that core. Float that right leg up to the sky. Shift forward, bringing your right knee to your right elbow, breathing here. Float that right leg up to the sky. Shift forward as you bring your right foot forward onto the mat. Bring your left heel down onto the mat, so both heels are on the mat. Rising up into warrior one. Option to have your palms together above your head, gaze up for more of a challenge. You can keep your arms apart. See if you can bring your shoulders away from your ears. And see if you can peel that left heel down towards the mat. This may feel a little funky at first. All the while trying to square the hips towards the front of the mat, breathing here. On the next breath, bring both hands down around that right foot. Come onto the ball of your left foot. Use your core to bring your right foot back to meet your left foot in vinyasa or go straight back into downward dog. Really building that yang energy. We should be feeling more heated right now. If we're not, that's also okay. Our bodies are all different, so it's perfectly okay to have a different experience. Nod the head, yes. Shake the head, no. On the next breath, float that left leg to the sky, long three-legged dog. Open up that left hip by bending that left leg. Try to keep the shoulders squared so we can isolate that hip opening. Breathing here, straightening that left leg back up to the sky. Shift forward as you bring your left knee to your nose, rounding your spine, engaging your core. Breathing here. And float that left leg up to the sky. Shift forward, bring your knee to your right elbow, crossing over. Breathe here, engage that core. Float that left leg up to the sky. Shift forward, bringing that left knee to your left elbow. Breathing here, engaging that core. Float that left leg up to the sky. Shift forward, bringing your left foot down onto the mat in between your hands. Bring your right heel down. Both feet are planted as you rise up in warrior one. Breathing here. Squaring the hips to the front edge of the mat. You're really peeling that back heel down onto the mat. See if you can track that left knee over that left ankle. Option to have palms together or palms apart. You can gaze up for more of a challenge. Breathing here, standing strong. On the next breath, bring both hands down around that left foot. Come onto the ball of your right foot. Use your core to bring your left foot back to your right foot. And vinyasa, moving through your vinyasa. Stay here for 3 full breaths in downward dog, or always an option to take child's pose. And just notice what's coming up for you. You don't have to make meaning of what's coming up with you. You can just know the truth of what you're feeling right now. On the next breath, look to the front of your mat. Now listen carefully. Bring your right foot up to the outside of your right hand. Okay, so you're bringing both of your hands on the inside of your right foot. Your right knee should be working towards your right shoulder. Okay, we're coming into lizard pose here. For some of you, it may feel good to lower that left knee. So we're really working into the hips here. All right, if you don't feel that, then see if you can bring your left knee out, all right, towards the left side of the mat. And see if you can hug that right knee towards the right shoulder, really working into the hips. Or see if you can even bring back that left knee. Okay, so just adjust for your body. For some of you, it may feel good to have a block to put your hands on if you want a little bit of elevation. If you want more work, then you're going to tuck those left toes and lift that left knee up, really working into the hips. So breathing here, we're just working into the hips just for a moment. This is a great time to notice what's coming up for us, especially if we feel discomfort. And sometimes even when we're feeling physical discomfort, sometimes that physical discomfort is actually masking emotional discomfort. It's because we're in an uncomfortable situation that we're now aware of that. So just tune into, if you feel physical discomfort, is it truly a physical sensation that you feel? Or is it more of what's occurring in the mind? And how can we just accept the truth of how we feel in this moment? Breathing here, keeping that breath moving. For some of you, you may even be able to go onto your elbows. Okay, you can use a pillow or a blanket, anything that feels good for you underneath that left knee. If you want to work into the hips a little bit more, some of you may feel comfortable if you keep your left hand on the mat and very slowly use your right hand to bring that right knee out towards the right. Okay, so you're opening up that hip, that right hip a little bit more. And for some of you, you might even want to work further to bend that left leg and grab onto that right foot with your left foot, sorry, with your right hand, getting a little bit of a quad stretch. Okay, so just tune into your body. We're not trying to push our body into doing something unnatural for us right now, or it's going to cause pain. Right? If you feel a healthy amount of challenge, that's fine. But just tuning into what your body's telling you. Breathing here. Wherever you are. Just a few more breaths. All right, on the next breath, everybody tuck those left toes. Lift that left knee up. Very gently use your core to bring that right foot, just kick the candle, the right foot back to your left foot, coming into a high plank. Now listen carefully, bring both feet together in your high plank. Bring that left hand in front of your face. Roll onto the outer left edge of your left foot, coming into side plank. All right, for some of you, it may feel good to bring that left knee down. If you want more work, for some of you, then you're going to work to lift that right leg up. If you want, your hand can be straight up to the sky, or you can bring the hand over the right ear, whatever challenge level feels good for you. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the right hand down. Separate the feet, move through your vinyasa, or go straight back into downward dog. Feel free to come into child's pose at any moment. This is the last part of our yang practice. All right, so we'll get the time to cool down. We'll do one balancing pose after this. All right, and then we're completely on the ground. Breathing here. On the next breath, bring your left foot forward outside of your left hand. So you're coming into lizard on the other side. For some of you, it may feel good to lower that right knee down. Okay, so we're working into the other hip now. And you can put your hands on a block, your hands on a pillow, a blanket, whatever feels good for you. If you want more work, you're going to tuck those right toes and lift that right leg up. You're going to really feel that, right, in the hip. So be mindful of what the body needs in this moment and what the body's limits are in this moment. If your right knee is down and you want to just work a little bit more into the hips, you can keep your right hand on the mat and just gently use your left hand to bring that left knee out towards the left. Okay, you're going to work a little bit more into the hips. Breathing here. And if you want even more work, you'll bend that right leg and you'll hold on to that right foot with your left arm, getting a quad stretch. Okay, so just being mindful of the body. We don't want any shooting pains here, any sharp pains. Just being mindful of what feels good in the body. Both hands are inside of that left foot. Letting the head and neck relax down. Can you just let them relax? Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. All right, on the next breath, tuck those right toes, everybody. Lift that right knee up. Use your core to swing your left foot back to meet your right foot. You're in a high plank, and move through your vinyasa or go straight back into downward dog. And when you're in downward dog, take a moment to come down into child's pose. Just noticing what's coming up for you. judging or labeling what's coming up. We're not trying to add a lot of meaning to what's coming up. Sometimes what comes up is simply just how we're feeling in the moment. It might not have extreme meaning to anything at the time, but it is our truth for that time being. So can we just accept the truth that's coming up for us? The more that we accept it, the more that it'll just pass on by. It won't stick with us because we won't be fighting it so hard. Running away from it, trying to make it go away. It's just going to come back. On the next breath, come back into your downward dog. Look to the front of your mat. Step or jump your feet to your hands. Inhaling halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing. Palms together at the sky, gaze up. Palms down at the heart and to the side. All right, so we're just gonna do one standing balancing pose, one that we haven't actually done in quite a little bit of time. Utthita Padangusthasana, which is quite a mouthful. But we're going to essentially do some kind of hip opening, which we've kind of been trying to work into a little bit in this practice. So we're gonna try to do a hip opening standing balancing pose. For this, it may be helpful for some of you if you have straps. If you don't have a strap, you could use a tie, you could use a towel or like a dishcloth, something that kind of helps you wrap around, a ribbon that you can kind of wrap around your foot. Okay, so if you want to go grab that right now, that's a good time to do that. Otherwise, I'll also show you an alternative of not needing a strap that'll help you still kind of work into the hips, okay? Let me first show you what we're going to be doing. Okay, so we're going to be doing Utthita Padangusthasana. So essentially, it's when you kind of hold the leg. This is the option here, and then you open it to the side. Okay, so that's where the hips come in. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing. So option for that, or I'll walk you through how to just kind of hold on to the knee and then open up the knee. Okay, so it's kind of another option. All right, first things first, ground down through the feet. Okay, so spread those toes wide, ground down, okay, standing tall, shoulders away from the ears, and just gently try to shift a little bit more of the weight onto the left foot. Okay, just a tiny bit more. Okay, so that we're not completely falling over, but that we can just, we're trying to root down into that left foot. Option here, just bring that right knee up. For some of you, feel free to use that right hand to squeeze that right knee into the body more. Okay, this is a great balancing pose here already. This is already doing a lot. If you are able and you want to, you can grab your middle finger, index finger, and thumb around your big toe and extend out the leg. If you want to keep the leg bent, that's also fine. But you can kind of work here, okay? So that's one option. This is the other option. Finding that balance. And if you fall, just get back into it. Have fun with it, right? We all have to start somewhere. Even people that have been practicing for decades, right, still fall out of poses all the time. I definitely fall all the time. So just have fun with it. All right, so option here, you can hold this here. If you want to work into the hips a little bit more, just see if you can open up that knee to the right, okay? But see if you can bring that right hip down. Okay, so you're trying to square those hips. If you have been holding on to your big toe, see if you can bring that leg out to the side. See if you can bring that right hip down. Okay, breathing here wherever you are. Okay, you either have your knee open, breathing here, finding that balance, and gently bring that leg back to center wherever you are. See if you can let go of the knee or the leg. Breathing here, just hold the leg out, use your core for 5, 4, lift that leg higher, 3, 2, 1. Lower that right leg down. Great job. Good job, everybody. I know I haven't done this in a class probably since possibly a live class. So, which has almost been a year, which is wild to think about. So good job. We're kind of working the hips today, as you can see. All right, feel free to roll over your toes. One last side, and then we are totally yinning. I just made that word up, but we are yinning. We are doing yin the rest of the class. All right, last time. Gently bring the weight onto the right foot, just very gently. All right, we're gonna root down into that right foot this time. Finding that shifting very so slightly. Option here, bring that left knee up. You can hold on to that left knee if it feels good to you. If you want, you can hold on to the big toe, all right, yogi toe grip. Breathing here, wherever you are. See if you can bring that left hip down if you're holding onto the leg. It's okay to bend the knee too, wherever you are. And then we're going to try to open that leg out to the side. If you're holding onto your knee, you're going to swing that knee out to the side. See if you can bring that left hip down. Okay, the hip's going to want to come out. See if you can bring it down. You can probably see the difference with me as I do that, right? Left hip out, left hip down. Breathing here. If you're holding onto that foot, see if you can bring that left hip. Ooh, see, already falling out of it. Left hip down. And we'll all bring that leg to center. All right, if your knee's bent, that's fine, or leg out. Release the hands, just let the core work here. Breathing here for 5, lift that leg higher. 4, lift that leg even higher. 3, 2, the highest lift you can do. 1, and bring that left leg down. Great job, beautiful. All right, so we're just gonna make our way down to the mat. We're not even gonna waste time. So just come onto your seat, okay? And bring the feet together into Baddha Konasana. Feel free to sit on the edge of a blanket, a block. A block might be a little intense right now, so I recommend a blanket or a pillow, something soft and cushiony, okay? So sit on the edge of that wherever you are. We're just gonna kind of stretch out the hips a little bit. You can open up the feet like a book if that feels good to you. And for some of you, it may feel good. I'm definitely going to do this. You might want to even put a pillow on your lap so that you can kind of fall over. All right, and like let yourself lean in. I'm actually going to layer my pillow with another blanket. All right, so wherever you are, sit tall, shoulders away from the ears, crown of the head up. Inhale up. Exhale as you forward fold and just totally melt forward. Okay, the hands can come out in front of you. You can let the head relax. Whatever feels good to you. This is a time to reward yourself, right? Kind of reap the benefits of that beautiful opening that you did. The hip opening, creating that heat, embodying that yang energy, that solar energy. And now we're going to embody the yin energy, that lunar energy. And just noticing what the breath feels like, noticing sensations of the body, and noticing what's coming up in the mind, and noticing what truth is coming up. We might not necessarily have the correct meaning attributed to our truth, right? A lot of that's based on programming, on fears, on beliefs, but what we are feeling that's coming up, right? That feeling is truth. If we're feeling a certain way, there's no arguing that we're feeling a certain way. So what can you sit with right now? What are you running away from? What are you avoiding that you can just simply acknowledge in this moment? Where can you relax right now? Where are you holding yourself up? Can you relax your shoulders away from your ears? Feel free to turn your head if your neck is turned a certain way. Noticing if the breath is starting to slow down. It's okay if the mind wanders. That's totally expected even for the mind to wander. But maybe just noticing this time, what is the mind wandering to? Is it wandering towards something or is it trying to wander away from something? Slowly start to deepen the breath. Start to walk the hands back towards the body very slowly. You can move your props off to the side for just a moment. And we're going to actually bring the legs out. Okay, so we're going to come into a wide-legged stance. Okay, into a wide V, whatever is comfortable for you. Okay, the wider, the not necessarily the better. Okay, so just whatever's comfortable for your hips in this moment. It's okay to bend the knees. It's okay to sit on the edge of a blanket or a pillow, something soft. Okay, so wherever you are, I'm also going to bring my props out in front of me because that sounds really awesome right now. So feel free to bring a block in front of you, a pillow, a blanket if you want to lay on it. We're not going to stay as long laying forward because we're going to do some stuff on each leg as well. All right, but wherever you are, see if you can sit tall, adding length into the spine, flex those feet, breathing here, raise the arms to frame the ears. Inhale the crown up. Exhale as you forward fold. When you can't fold anymore, let the hands rest wherever they land. Feel free to use a pillow or a blanket to lay forward on. We'll be here for just about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, so we won't be here super long. Seeing if you can just relax forward, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the teeth, noticing if the mouth is clenched. And slowly start to deepen the breath, walking the hands back to the body. Just move the props off to the side, maybe out in front of you for just a moment. We're just going to do some forward folds over each leg. I'll add a little bit of a spinal twist as well. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to avoid any pain. See if you can gently square your chest and your shoulders over that right foot. Okay, so you're in like a little bit of a spinal twist here. Breathing here, sitting tall, adding length into the spine. Bring the arms up to frame the ears. Inhale, look crown up. Exhale as you fold over that right leg. Breathing here, letting the head and neck relax. We're just stretching here. We're not going to stay here super long. But see if you can bring that left shoulder down ever so slightly. Okay, so ever so slightly. Letting the head and neck relax. And on the next breath, gently, gently, gently come back to center. Shrug the shoulders up to the ears and back down slowly. On the next breath, we're going to turn towards that left side. So use your hands to gently square your chest and your shoulders over that left leg. Frame the ears with the arms. Inhaling up. Exhaling as you forward fold over that left leg. Feel free to bend your knees, by the way, as much as you need. And this time, see if you can bring the right shoulder down ever so slightly. Okay, so ever so slightly. Let the head and the neck relax. Breathing here. And on the next breath, gently, gently, gently roll up. Shrug the shoulders up to the ears and back down. Very gently use your hands to bring your knees to a bend. Bringing the knees together and then come onto your backs on your mat. So scooch up about halfway up your mat. Come onto your back, hugging the knees into the chest, maybe rocking left and right, massaging the spine. Moving in circles with the knees if that feels good to you. And on the next breath, let your knees fall to your left. Raise the right arm to the sky and peel that right arm down to the mat, coming into a spinal twist. Squaring the chest and the shoulders to the sky. Both shoulder blades are reaching for the mat. Feel free to use your left hand to guide your right knee down if you feel a little bit more open in the spine. Otherwise, just feel free to let the left hand go out to the side. Keeping that breath moving here in the spinal twist. Breathing into the body. Noticing what's coming up and just sitting with what's coming up. Unclenching the jaw. Keeping that breath moving. Taking this moment just to notice the breath, noticing what sensations are coming up in the body. And gently bring both feet back down onto the mat. Bending both knees, gently push into the feet, lift the hips just to neutralize the spine, almost like a half bridge, and then lowering the hips back down to the mat. Once again, squeeze both knees into the body, rocking left and right, massaging the spine. And this time, let the knees fall over to your right, coming into the spinal twist other side. Float the left arm to frame, actually just towards the sky, and then lower that left arm down to the mat, squaring the shoulders and the chest towards the sky. You can use your right hand to guide that left knee down more if you would like to deepen the stretch. Otherwise, just simply let that left arm fall to the side. And breathing here on this side, breathing through any discomfort that comes up or readjusting if there's major discomfort. And then just sitting with what comes up. What is the truth right now? Doesn't mean it's the truth forever. But what's the truth right now? What emotions, what thoughts, what feelings are arising right now? Even the ones that we're running away from, can we just acknowledge that we're feeling that right now? The story we're creating around these feelings may not be true, but the feeling itself is true. And if the mind wanders, we simply just come back to what is happening right now. What is the breath like? What is felt in the body? What is the truth right now? And gently bring both feet back down to the mat. And one last time, push into the feet, lift the hips just to neutralize the spine. Lower the hips back down, squeeze both knees into the body, maybe rocking left and right, massaging the spine. And then opening up into happy baby, grabbing the outsides of both feet, maybe rocking left and right, massaging the spine once again. And then doing any last movements that you need for your practice, or coming down into the final pose of Shavasana. Your heart can be trusted. Don't doubt it. It will inevitably connect you to what's true. Love yourself enough to trust what you know. Then stay connected to truth. Slowly start to deepen the breath, bringing movement into the body, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, stretching the arms up overhead, stretching the legs out in front of you, growing really tall, really long. And when you're ready, rolling over onto either side, coming into a fetal position, taking a moment to collect the breath, to start anew. And when you're ready, coming back onto your mat in a comfortable seated position, perhaps at the edge of a block, a blanket, a pillow, bolster. Palms together at the heart, bowing down to the palms. Giving gratitude to ourselves for showing up to our yoga practice this evening. Giving gratitude to our mind, our body, our breath for all that they do for us in every moment. And giving gratitude to those in our lives that show up for us, our loved ones, our family, our friends, and bringing awareness to the heart space in this moment and seeing if we have room to grow that circle of gratitude and love even wider, perhaps to our acquaintances, our neighbors, the people that we see every day, perhaps walking their dog or running or delivering food or mail or items. Our community, perhaps our local healthcare workers for working so hard, perhaps our local people that help with testing, with vaccines. Perhaps even having room to grow this even wider, perhaps bringing this gratitude to our city, maybe our whole state, perhaps our whole country, perhaps our whole world, perhaps the whole universe. Just opening the heart as wide as it feels today. And knowing that we can always take our intentions with us off of the yoga mat and into our everyday lives, we can always bridge that connection and value our connection to truth. I thank each and every one of you for practicing with me today. It is always an honor to share this practice with you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and have a very happy start of February. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll be teaching this again next Sunday, and then be on the lookout on my website